On the afternoon of November 24th, 1971, a man walked up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter in Portland, Oregon.
He looked ordinary.
Very ordinary. A dark business suit, a white shirt, a black tie, a briefcase. He used cash to buy a one-way ticket to Seattle.
A short flight, Portland to Seattle, is not far.
Not far at all. The name on the ticket was Dan Cooper.
Dan Cooper, not D.B. Cooper.
We will come back to that. For now, the passenger boarded flight 305, sat near the back of the plane, ordered a drink, and waited.
This already feels too calm.
That calm did not last. After takeoff, he handed a note to a flight attendant. At first, she did not understand how serious it was.
What did the note say?
It said he had a bomb in his briefcase.
Suddenly, this is not an ordinary passenger.
No, he opened the case just enough for her to see wires and red-colored sticks. Then he gave his demands.
What did he want?
$200,000 in $20 bills, 4 parachutes, and safe landing instructions.
A man on a plane claiming to have a bomb asking for money and parachutes?
Then, after the plane landed in Seattle, something even stranger happened.
He jumped?
Not yet. First, he released the passengers. Then, the plane took off again with only the crew and the hijacker on board.
And then?
Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Nevada, a little after 8 o'clock at night, the man opened the rear stairs of the airplane.
While the plane was in the air?
While the plane was flying through the dark. And
He jumped.
He jumped with a parachute and the ransom money. Then he
Disappeared.
That is the mystery. Today, we're opening the case of D.B. Cooper.
The man who disappeared from a plane.
Welcome to Mystery English, the show where we learn English by exploring real mysteries.
I'm Theo.
And I'm Maya.
Each episode, we open a new case file, a strange event, an unsolved question, or a story from history that still makes people wonder.
And along the way, we help you build your English with clear conversation, useful vocabulary, idioms, and questions to think about.
Today's case, the man who disappeared from a plane.
Listen closely. Every mystery has clues.
And every clue is a chance to learn.
As we investigate, keep 3 questions in mind.
I'm ready.
First, how did the hijacking happen, step by step? Sequence matters. Second, what evidence did investigators have after Cooper disappeared?
Evidence matters too.
Third, what's more likely? Did Cooper survive, or did the jump itself end the mystery?
That's the big question.
Yes, and our English focus today is sequencing events.
Words like first, then, after that, while, before, and by the time.
Yes, this case is perfect for those words because the order of events is everything.
Let's begin before the plane took off.
On November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving in the United States, a man bought a ticket at Portland International Airport.
He paid in cash.
He did. The ticket cost $20. The flight was Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, bound for Seattle, Washington.
Bound for means going to.
Correct. If a train is bound for Chicago, it's going to Chicago. If a plane is bound for Seattle, Seattle is its destination.
And the man used the name Dan Cooper.
Yes, this is an important detail. Dan Cooper was almost certainly an alias.
So that was probably not his real name.
Right. Later, a news report helped spread the name D.B. Cooper, even though the man had bought the ticket as Dan Cooper.
So the famous name may be based on a mistake.
A mistake that became history.
That is very human.
It is. Now, once Cooper boarded, he sat in the rear part of the airplane.
Rear means back.
Right. The aircraft was a Boeing 727, which had rear stairs that could be lowered from the back of the plane.
That feature becomes important later.
Very important. During the flight, Cooper seemed calm. He ordered a bourbon and soda. He was described as quiet and controlled.
Not panicking, not shouting.
No. Then, after the plane was in the air, he handed a note to a flight attendant.
Here's our sequence. First, he bought a ticket, then he boarded. After takeoff, he passed a note.
Good. That is the kind of language we want listeners to practice. What happened after he passed the note? According to the account, the flight attendant did not immediately react. Cooper then told her to read it. The note indicated that he had a bomb in his briefcase.
Indicated means showed or suggested.
Yes, in this case, he claimed he had a bomb. He opened the briefcase enough for her to see what looked like wires and red sticks.
Do we know if it was a real bomb?
We do not know for certain. That is an important limit. The threat controlled the situation, but the object was never recovered and confirmed.
Though we should say he claimed to have a bomb, not he definitely had one.
Exactly. Careful language is part of careful thinking.
What were the demands?
Cooper demanded $200,000 in $20 bills and 4 parachutes.
Ransom money.
Yes, that money became one of the main clues in the case.
In this case, the passengers were the people in danger.
Yes, there were 36 passengers on the flight, plus crew members.
And the crew had to keep flying while people on the ground prepared the money and parachute.
Correct. The plane circled and waited while the airline and authorities arranged Cooper's demands.
That word while is useful.
Very useful. We use while to show 2 actions happening at the same time. The plane waited while people prepared the ransom.
The passenger sat quietly while Cooper spoke with the flight attendant.
Good example. Eventually, the plane landed in Seattle.
Eventually means after some time.
Yes, it's a useful word when a sequence takes longer than expected.
So eventually, Flight 305 landed in Seattle.
And there, Cooper received the money and the parachutes.
Then he released the passengers.
Yes, he exchanged the passengers for the ransom and the parachutes. The passengers left the plane safely.
That is an important point. This was dangerous, but the passengers were released.
They were. Cooper kept several crew members on board. Then he gave instructions for the next flight.
Where did he want to go?
He ordered the plane to fly toward Mexico City, with plans to refuel along the way.
But he never reached Mexico City.
No. After leaving Seattle, the plane flew south. The conditions were difficult. It was night, the weather was poor, the aircraft was moving. The rear stairs were lowered.
That image is almost impossible to picture.
It is. A man in dress clothes, carrying ransom money, preparing to jump from the back of a plane into darkness.
What altitude was the plane flying at?
Reports generally describe the aircraft flying at about 10,000 feet during the escape route. That's high enough to be extremely dangerous, especially at night and in bad weather.
And he was not dressed like a person ready for a wilderness landing.
Right. He wore a suit, a shirt, a tie, and ordinary shoes, not outdoor gear.
Did the perps see him jump?
No. They knew something had happened because of pressure changes and movement in the aircraft, but they did not watch him leave. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, a little after 8 p.m., Cooper was gone.
By the time the plane landed in Reno, Cooper had jumped.
Excellent sentence. That is our grammar showing up naturally.
By the time the plane landed in Reno, Cooper had jumped.
Yes, we use by the time to show that one event was already complete before another point in time.
By the time investigators searched the plane, the hijacker had vanished.
Also good. When the plane landed safely in Reno, investigators searched it. They found items he left behind, including his black tie.
A tie can be evidence?
It can. In a case like this, even a small object can matter.
A tie, fingerprints, the ticket, witness descriptions, the ransom bill.
Yes, the FBI opened a long investigation called NORJAC,
NORJAC?
short for Northwest Hijacking.
A cold case with a code name.
Yes, a cold case is a crime or mystery that remains unsolved for a long time, even though investigators have worked on it.
So, D.B. Cooper became one of the most famous cold cases in American history.
It did. Investigators interviewed hundreds of people, followed leads across the country, and looked carefully at the aircraft for forensic evidence.
Forensic means related to scientific methods used in investigation.
Yes, Forensic evidence can include fingerprints, DNA, fibers, or other physical traces.
Did they have fingerprints?
Investigators collected physical evidence from the plane, but no evidence definitively identified Cooper.
Definitively means finally and clearly.
Right. No suspect was proven to be the hijacker beyond a reasonable doubt.
That phrase sounds legal.
It is. To prove something beyond a reasonable doubt means to prove it so strongly that a reasonable person would not seriously doubt it.
Though there were suspects, but not enough proof.
That is the point.
Is the FBI still actively investigating it?
In 2016, the FBI said it had redirected resources from the case to other priorities. The evidence is preserved, and specific new physical evidence could still matter, especially anything connected to the parachutes or the ransom money.
So the case is not solved, but the active investigation changed.
Right, that distinction matters.
What about the money? $200,000 in $20 bills sounds traceable.
It was traceable because the serial numbers had been recorded. For years, investigators hoped the money would appear somewhere.
In a bank? A store? A suitcase?
Possibly, but most of the money never appeared.
Most?
In 1980, almost 9 years after the hijacking, a young boy named Brian Ingram found a damaged package of $20 bills near the Columbia River in Washington.
Wait, the actual ransom money?
Yes, the serial numbers matched the ransom. The amount was $5,800.
That is such an eerie clue.
It's one of the strongest physical clues in the case. The money was damaged and rotting, buried near the river.
But it raised more questions than it answered.
Exactly. How did the money get there? Did Cooper lose it during the jump? Did he land near water? Did someone else move it? Did the river carry it?
One clue, many possible stories.
That is the heart of this case.
Let me try a listening check.
Go ahead.
First, a man using the name Dan Cooper bought a cash ticket from Portland to Seattle on November 24th, 1971.
Good.
Then, after the flight took off, he gave a note to a flight attendant and claimed he had a bomb in his briefcase.
Keep going.
He demanded $200,000 in $20 bills and 4 parachutes.
Correct.
When the plane landed in Seattle, he exchanged the passengers for the money and parachute.
Yes.
After that, the plane took off again with several crew members still on board.
Good sequence.
A little after 8 p.m., somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Cooper jumped from the back of the plane with a parachute and the ransom money.
Yes.
By the time the plane landed in Reno, he had disappeared.
Excellent.
Years later, in 1980, a boy found part of the ransom money near the Columbia River.
That is the case brief.
And the mystery is whether Cooper survived, where he landed, and who he really was.
That is the big mystery.
Now we need language clues.
Let us collect them. First word, alias.
An alias is a false name or another name used by a person. Example, the hijacker bought the ticket under the alias Dan Cooper.
Second word, hijack.
To hijack means to take control of a vehicle, especially by force or threat. Example, Cooper hijacked Flight 305 after takeoff.
Third word, ransom.
Ransom is money demanded in exchange for release or safety. Example, Cooper demanded $200,000 in ransom.
Fourth word, parachute.
A parachute is a device made of cloth that slows a person's fall from an aircraft. Example, Cooper asked for 4 parachutes before leaving Seattle.
Fifth word, crew.
The crew are the workers who operate a plane, ship, or train. Example, the passengers left the plane, but several crew members stayed on board.
Sixth word, evidence.
Evidence is information or objects that help prove what happened. Example, the recovered money was evidence connected to the hijacking.
Seventh word, suspect.
A suspect is a person who may have committed a crime. Example, investigators considered many suspects, but no one was proved to be D.B. Cooper.
And one bonus word, trace.
A trace is a small sign that something or someone was present. Example, Cooper left few traces behind.
Our idiom today is vanish into thin air.
If someone or something vanishes into thin air, they disappear suddenly and completely.
Yes. Example, after jumping from the plane, Cooper seemed to vanish into thin air.
It's dramatic but useful.
Yes, we can use it in everyday English too. For example, I put my keys on the table and now they have vanished into thin air.
Very common mystery, low stakes, high irritation.
Very true.
What is our grammar in the wild?
Sequencing events in the past.
Perfect for this case.
When we tell a story, listeners need a clear timeline. We can use words like first, then, next, after that, while, when, before, and eventually.
First, Cooper bought a ticket.
Then he boarded the plane.
After takeoff, he gave the flight attendant a note.
While the plane circled, people prepared the ransom.
When the plane landed in Seattle, the passengers got off safely.
After that, the plane took off again.
Eventually, Cooper jumped into the night.
Very clear. Now let's add one more structure, past perfect.
That's had plus past participle, right?
Yes, we use the past perfect to show that one past action happened before another past action.
By the time the plane landed in Reno, Cooper had jumped.
Exactly. The jump happened before the landing in Reno.
By the time investigators searched the aircraft, the hijacker had left behind only a few clues.
Good. Another one. Before the passengers left the plane, Cooper had received the ransom and parachutes.
So the past perfect helps us explain which event came first when both events are in the past.
Precisely. A mystery timeline needs that.
It does. Now let us separate evidence from interpretation.
Here is what we know.
A man using the name Dan Cooper hijacked Northwest Orient Flight 305 on November 24, 1971.
He demanded $200,000 and 4 parachutes.
The passengers were released in Seattle.
The plane took off again with crew members and the hijacker on board.
Cooper jumped from the back of the plane somewhere between Seattle and Reno.
The aircraft landed safely in Reno, but Cooper was gone.
In 1980, $5,800 of the ransom money was found near the Columbia River.
The FBI investigated for decades, but no person was definitively identified as Cooper.
And in 2016, the FBI redirected active resources away from the case while keeping the evidence preserved.
Good. Now, here is what remains uncertain.
His real name,
His exact landing location,
whether he survived the jump,
how the recovered money reached the river area.
and whether any suspect was actually the right person.
That is the open question.
Now we test the main theory.
Theory 1. Cooper survived the jump and escaped.
This is the version people love because it feels like a perfect disappearance.
Yes, but the evidence is not simple. For Cooper to survive, he needed to land safely at night, in bad weather, in rough terrain, while carrying money and wearing ordinary clothes.
That sounds extremely difficult.
It was. Still, impossible is a strong word. Some people believe Cooper had enough knowledge to make the jump and disappear.
What supports that idea?
He chose an aircraft with rear stairs. He asked for parachutes. He seemed calm. He planned key parts of the hijacking.
But planning the demand is not the same as surviving the landing.
Exactly. A clever plan can still fail in the real world.
Theory 2, Cooper died during or after the jump.
This theory explains why most of the money was never spent, why Cooper never appeared, and why part of the ransom was found damaged near a river.
It also fits the dangerous conditions.
Yes, the FBI itself has discussed the possibility that Cooper did not survive.
What is the weakness of that theory?
No body was found. No parachute was conclusively found. No complete money bag was found. The landscape was difficult to search, but the missing physical evidence leaves room for doubt.
Theory 3, Cooper had help on the ground.
Some people have wondered whether someone waited for him after the jump.
That would explain a cleaner escape.
It could, but there is no strong public evidence proving a helper. It also would require precise planning in darkness, bad weather, and uncertain location.
Though it's possible as a story, but weak as an evidence-based conclusion.
Well said.
Now we test the main theories.
Theory 1. One of the named suspects was D.B. Cooper.
Over the years, many suspects have been proposed. Some had interesting connections. Some had parachuting experience. Some had unusual life stories.
But interesting is not the same as proven.
Right. The FBI considered many leads, but no suspect was identified beyond a reasonable doubt. That phrase again, beyond a reasonable doubt.
It matters. A mystery can be exciting, but an accusation requires proof.
I like that line. A mystery can be exciting, but an accusation requires proof.
It is one of the most important lessons in any unsolved case.
Maya, what do you think happened?
I lean toward the dangerous jump theory. I think Cooper may not have survived, or he may have survived only briefly and lost the money.
Because of the weather, the darkness, the terrain, and the recovered ransom bills?
Yes, those clues make a clean escape feel less likely to me.
I understand that. I am more uncertain. The fact that only part of the money was found makes me wonder. If he died with the ransom, why did so little appear?
Good question. But rivers, mud, animals, weather, and time can destroy or scatter evidence. The absence of evidence does not always point in one direction.
So my doubt is fair, but it does not prove survival.
That is how I see it.
I also keep thinking about the name. The world remembers D.B. Cooper, but the ticket said Dan Cooper.
That detail feels like the whole case in miniature. A real event becomes a legend, and the legend changes the name.
The facts are already strange enough, then the story grows around them.
Yes, and when a case becomes famous, people sometimes prefer the most cinematic answer.
The mastermind who got away.
Right, but the evidence may point to something less glamorous and more tragic.
Risky plan, a dark sky, and a jump that no one saw.
Yes,
That's colder than the legend.
it is. This is why we should be careful not to admire the crime. The hijacking endangered innocent people and terrified a flight crew.
Good point. The mystery is interesting. The crime was dangerous.
Exactly. We can study the case without celebrating the act.
So, what's the strongest conclusion we can make?
B.B. Cooper, whoever he was, created a short sequence of events that became one of America's most famous unsolved mysteries.
He controlled the plane for a few hours, then lost control of the story forever.
Nicely said. After he jumped, the evidence became incomplete and the questions multiplied.
Who was he?
Where did he land?
Did he survive?
How did part of the ransom money reach the Columbia River?
And why has no suspect ever been proven?
Those questions are why the case still holds attention.
Now it's your turn.
Try to answer this question in English. What do you think happened to D.B. Cooper after he jumped?
Use sequence words from today's episode.
You can begin with, first, I think Cooper,
Then add, after he jumped.
and finish with, by the time investigators.
Here's the model answer.
I think Cooper probably did not make a clean escape. First, he planned the hijacking carefully and chose a plane with rear stairs. Then, after receiving the ransom and parachutes, he jumped into dangerous conditions at night. By the time the plane landed in Reno, he had disappeared, but the later discovery of damaged ransom money suggests that his escape may have gone wrong.
That answer uses evidence and sequencing.
For a different answer, you could say Cooper may have survived because he seemed calm, chose his aircraft carefully, and left very few traces. However, without stronger evidence, his real identity remains unproven.
That answer uses may and remains, so it sounds careful.
Yes, mystery English isn't just about learning words. It's about learning how to explain uncertainty.
And this case has plenty of uncertainty.
If you want to practice the vocabulary, grammar, and discussion phrases from this episode, download the free case file worksheet.
And tell us your theory. Did D.B. Cooper survive the jump, or did the mystery end somewhere in the dark?
Until next time, keep your English clear.
And your curiosity sharper than the clue.
This has been Mystery English.